Hello, Christmas Flixers. Welcome back to season 6 of Chicks on Christmas Flicks, where we can never have too many Christmas movies. We can only have not enough Christmas movies. Hey, everybody, I'm Brady, and we are back for more Christmas in July. This is week 2. I'm so excited. I'm sorry I didn't get this out yesterday, but I've had, I always create craziness for myself, and this week is no exception. I created more craziness for myself. I can't wait to tell you guys about this, but today we're going to talk a little bit more about Christmas in July, and we're going to talk about some new movies that I just found out about. This week, I'm sure the news has been out there, but you guys know, like, I have a full-time job, and chasing after these movies sometimes can be a bit of a chore. But I did my work this week, so I got a few new movies, but then, of course, we've got the Christmas in July schedule. First, I will tell you a little bit about my week. So, yesterday, the 4th of July, and I woke up and I thought, well, let me go ahead and get my deck together, and I will, spend some time out on the deck yesterday. It'll be the first time in the season that we're going to have like a few sunny days back to back, because it's been raining so much. I was like, I didn't put my deck together because I didn't want to put my cushions out there and get the rugs all set up and all that, and then actually not be able to use the space because it was just pouring rain. And the sunny days are not going to last that long. I think tomorrow we have one more like quasi sunny day. And then Monday we start back with rain again. It's supposed to rain all week long, pretty much. So, but I said I'm going to squeak out a couple of good days. So yesterday I go out to clean the deck and get it ready, get it set up. And guess what we found? We found a wasp nest. So I looked it up online, and we have paper wasps. And so the paper wasps, apparently, like, even if you get rid of the nest, which we were able to do accidentally, completely by accident, like, we didn't even know there was a wasp nest there. So I have an egg chair. I have 2 egg chairs with covers and I keep all my furniture covered, especially over the winter, because I don't want them, to get, pummeled with the snow and all of this stuff. So I keep them covered in the rain and all of that stuff. Even when it rains, I go back out, I cover them up. So they look, this furniture is probably, 4 or 5 years old. Probably since 2020, 2021, I've had it. So 4 or 5 years old. And, so it's beautiful, but because the cover stayed on longer, normally in early spring, I could take the covers off. We've literally just had that much rain. Maryland is one of the rainiest places. I don't know how like the, Oregon and Washington and all those, like Seattle or whatever, has gotten the reputation for having all this rain, because I'm telling you, Maryland, and I think I looked it up at one time, Maryland actually gets more rain than Seattle, if you can believe that. And it's just because of kind of where we sit. It's humid, and then rain, all the way up until like the fall. Like when the fall comes, then we can usually string together a couple of weeks of good weather. But yeah, until the fall, it's like we have a constant rainy season during the summer. Anyway, so long story short, I go out there, we find the wasp nest. We accidentally knocked it down when we took the cover off. But now all the wasps keep coming back to the spot because they're like, hey, my house was here and now I don't have a house here. And then my son decides to blow one of the, we're blowing leaves off the deck. And my son decides to blow one of the wasps. So then that wasp came back really angry, and he brought a bunch of his friends with him. And so we're like scrambling, running, trying to get away from the wasp. This was yesterday. This was my yesterday. So I thought I was going to have a nice calm day where I could you know, do the show and everything. And I spent the day pretty much trying to set up the desk and trying to set up the deck and running away from wasps. So there you have it. This is why I didn't get to do the show yesterday. And so with that, I finally got it set up. I finally got the rug down. I finally, we sprayed like everything that you could spray around there. And I told my dad about it. And my dad was just like, yeah, it's just going to be a couple days. You're just going to have to wait a couple days until the wasp realize that the nest is gone, and then they'll go on somewhere else. He said, they may find another spot at your house, but they will go away. So it's just crazy. It's just insane. I don't know. Like, I never have. Every time I think I'm going to have a normal week, I never have a normal week. This was supposed to be a normal week, not so much a normal week. So here we go. Anyway, so that was that's the fun at my household. Oh, it's insane. I know, my life is completely insane. Anyway, so like, I'm wondering, like, what is it about this house that like draws like all the wildlife? Like, we have literally had everything in this house. I've had years ago, we had a snake. Now my son had me believing this was a python that we had running around in the basement, and we couldn't find it for anything. It was just a little baby black snake, and my dad came and got rid of it, got it out of the house. But so I've had a snake, I've had birds, I've had bees, I've had termites, the flying termites. I swear, in the morning they would come through the front of the house. They would just be on the front of the house, the front wall, and then they would just fall and die. They like fell and died, and then I would sweep them up, and then the next day we'd go back to the same thing. I didn't know what they were. Figured out they were termites and stuff. So eventually we got rid of the termites. And now we've got the wasp. And then we had bees' nests. We had a bees' nest in the back. We had a bees' nest in the front, next to, like, literally right next to the front door. So when you walked out, like, if there were angry bees outside, you'd be swarmed by bees. Never got stung, thank God. So I'm like, what about this house is drawing all this wildlife to here? Like, they think it's cool. Did I say that we had birds in the wall? We had birds in the wall. Birds came in. I'm like, it's like the seventh sign here. I don't know what it is. So anyway, hopefully we'll get rid of the wasps and we'll be able to like enjoy the house for the rest of the year. This is my hope, because honestly, I'm done with projects. I told you guys the last episode, I'm finished with house projects. I just want to chill and enjoy the house. Please let the wasps, Lord, get these wasps away from this house. Take them back in the woods. I have woods in the back. They got all the woods in the world where they could be. Why do they have to come up to my house? I don't know. Anyway, so please, Lord, just get the wasp out of here so I can enjoy my deck. And I'm not going to do anything else for the rest of the year. I promise. I am not doing anything. I'm just going to rest and relax, and when I'm not working, of course. But yeah, that's crazy. So anyway, that has been this week and this life in this house. This is insane. I know, it's insane. Anyway, so in the last episode, we talked about Merry Movie Week. We talked about Christmas in July. And I kind of updated you on some of the movies coming out. And then I told you all about the Christmas in July schedule. And today, really, I want to focus most of my time on this Christmas in July schedule and what we're watching, because there's so many good movies coming out. Some things, I have Hallmark Plus. Maybe not everybody has Hallmark Plus. So there's some things that are coming out that you may want to watch. There's some things that were on Hallmark Plus that I have yet to watch, like the whole Unwrapped series. I've not watched a single one of those movies, so they will be as new to me as they are to you. I said that I was going to watch them before they actually came out on the Hallmark Channel. But guess what? Haven't watched them, so I'm gonna watch the show. They will be new to me like they are to you. Also, today, because it's Saturday, a couple things. Today is Saturday, so they're gonna have the sneak peek for Countdown to Christmas, which they've been having these commercials like exposed more and more and more and more about Christmas in July. So I'm looking forward to that. And then, Countdown to Christmas. So I'm looking forward to that. And today, guys, so that I can get this show out without a whole lot of hubbub, this is going to be a blooper show, okay? That means whatever happens, whatever mistakes I make, and there will be plenty, I will not cut them out because I really want to get this show published and out to you guys as soon as possible since it's a little late. So anyway, get ready, buckle up your seatbelts because this is going to be a wild ride. We'll see what happens with me and my mistakes. All right. So that's going to do it for today. So let's get to the first things first. St. Nick shoutouts. As always, I love to begin the show with shoutouts to listeners. My favorite tradition on the show. Can you believe that this show is 6 seasons in? 6 seasons in. It's unbelievable to me. It's unbelievable to me that honestly, I think in the beginning, my intent was to have the show for as long as it took. But somewhere in the back of my mind, I always said, something will happen. I won't do the show for this many years. And yet, I love this. I love doing the show. I can feel my blood pressure go down when I start the show. Literally, I can feel the relaxation and the peace come over me when I do the show. So I know I'm supposed to be doing it. Anyway, so I'm so excited to talk to you guys, and I'm so happy that you squeeze me into your schedules or that you listen to me outside of your busy schedules. Anyway, today I'm going to give you the short version of the St. Nick shoutouts. I know I said in Christmas in July I would do some long ones and stuff, but I just obviously running away from WASP, I just did not have time to put the long version of the St. Nick shoutouts today. So today you can get the short one. Hopefully there will be no more 7 sign at the house, and next week I'll be able to do the longer version. Okay, so next Friday the next show will come out and I'll be able to do the longer version, but today we're going to do the short version. So I'm going to give some big love to 5 listener locations who have been checking out the show over the past week. And like I said, I don't know who you are, but I know where you live. Number 1 is Salem, New Hampshire. Salem, New Hampshire, thank you for joining the show. Number 2 is Linwood, Washington. Linwood, Washington, thank you so much for joining the show. Number 3 is Canton, Ohio. The Buckeye State, yay! I used to live there. So welcome and thank you for joining us, Canton, Ohio. Number 4 is the home of the Washington Commanders, Ashburn, Virginia. Thank you for joining Ashburn. And number 5 is Queens, New York. Queens, New York. I did a long spread on you guys during the holiday season, so I am very, very happy. It's one of my favorite hip-hop artists in the world is from Queens, Nasir Jones. So I'm very, very excited to have Queens in the house. All right, so the next thing up is Ho 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 holiday headlines. So I have a little bit of news this week. Not a lot, but a little bit, but some good news, right? All right, so for the first piece of news, Pluto TV. Okay, so I don't know if you guys have downloaded this app onto your TV yet. If you have smart TV that allows you to download apps, you've got to download Pluto TV. It is the leading free ad-supported streaming television service. And guess what? They've got a whole Christmas in July spread going on, right? So if you are unable to watch Hallmark or Hallmark Plus for any reason, you can get free Christmas movies for Christmas in July 24/7 channel. It's got a flurry of holiday themed shows and movies to viewers looking to escape the summer sizzle. Available for a limited time, this new channel within Pluto TV's Summer of Cinema initiative, transforming July into a winter wonderland of cozy classics, heartwarming films, and festive TV episodes. Whether you're craving snow-dusted romances or jolly family favorites, Pluto TV's Christmas channel is here to cool you down with the holiday spirit. So let me tell you, I have Pluto TV, obviously, because, I'm not going to pass up anything new. Free. I may pass up on new things, but I don't pass up on free things very often. So I do have Pluto TV. And I can tell you, I looked at the list of Christmas movies that they have, and they have quite a mix. They have Hallmark Originals, Up TV movies, Ion TV Christmas movies, and Lifetime. So they've got a mix of everything. And I have to tell you guys, like this year, one thing I have done is I have really kind of missed Lifetime. Like, I feel like Lifetime used to get on some of this action. It just can't be Hallmark and Great American Family. We really need Lifetime to get it in on the Christmas in July action, even if it's just for maybe a couple of hours or a few hours during the summer, during July, that they showed, a few Christmas movies or whatever. But they've got to get in on the action, because I'm just missing Lifetime movies. I'm missing my Lifetime movies. I really do. I mean, I love Hallmark movies, obviously, and I can sit and watch Hallmark movies but I am a regular watcher of Lifetime Christmas movies, so I wish that they had a mix of things going on, but since they don't, it's all Hallmark. And then, of course, you can catch some on these free streamers. So listen, a few of the movies that I found on Pluto TV included Hitch for the Holidays. Now, you remember Hitch for the Holidays was one of the Lawrence brothers. I can't remember. It's Joey. I think maybe it's Joey Lawrence. But he was in that movie. A Family Christmas Gift. That's the one with Patti LaBelle and Holly. So that's a good movie. And then Christmas in Conway, which I consider to be like a Christmas classic. It's more sad, right? Christmas in Conway is a little sad, but it's good. And then from Up TV, do you guys remember the Chandler series? I mean, there's like Chandler Christmas movies for days. So that series is long, right? I have watched it because they usually have a day on Up TV where they will show all the Chandler movies, like from the early morning until the evening. You'll see the whole series of Chandler movies. But if you love the Chandler family movies and you're missing them, well, you can watch them on Pluto TV. And then a couple of Lifetime movies, but one includes All About Christmas Eve. I can't remember where that one was before. I don't remember if that was always a Lifetime movie, but I know the last few years I have seen that on Lifetime, and I have watched that on Lifetime movies. So, All About Christmas Eve, I love that movie. And then Another Christmas Kiss. So you remember A Christmas Kiss. Now, I bought that I remember seeing it somewhere, and then I bought it on DVD. So I watch it on DVD all the time now. But Another Christmas Kiss, which is the follow-up to this movie, came out, and I watched that one. I've seen that one on like Ion. I may have seen it on Lifetime, but I think I remember distinctly that it was on Ion TV. So there's a good mix of movies there, and I would say that it's probably like there's probably enough movies on there for like a good 2-day binge, right? Like if you wanted to binge Christmas movies for a couple days, understanding that you're going to have a bunch of commercials and because these are ad supported, that's why they're free. So understand that you're going to have a bunch of commercials that you need to watch. But I would say if you have a good 2 to to 3 days where you're just sitting around doing nothing and you want to watch Christmas movies in July, then Pluto is a good way to do that. And you can watch them on demand whenever you want to watch them. Okay. All right. So that's that. And now I will add to that, Nicely. So you guys know, Nicely is one of those places where like channels like Up TV and Lifetime acquire Christmas movies. They don't do like a lot of originals like Hallmark does. They do some originals, but not like full original like Hallmark. And so Nicely is having a Christmas in July binge, I guess is what you would call it, on Tubi. So Tubi, again, free ad-supported app. But Nicely's Christmas movies, they, so far, I think I've seen them daily, if not daily, at least weekly, where they promote one of their Christmas movies for Christmas in July. So they're also having Christmas in July. So if you like, again, if you like Nicely movies and you want to see them, like I said, kind of the thing you would see on Lifetime or Up TV or even Ion for that matter, then you need to watch Tubi, and you need to watch the Nicely Christmas movies on Christmas in July. All right, the next piece of news. Netflix and football. Right. So remember, I went through the whole football schedule for Christmas Day because the Washington Commanders are going to be playing that day on Netflix, right? So that's the reason I even took an interest at all. But here's the funny thing. ESPN and Fox are forbidding their on-air talent from calling these games. So Michael Strahan and Terry Bradshaw have been forbidden from calling the games for Netflix. And then from what I understand, Tom Brady has also been forbidden from calling the games for Netflix. So I think Netflix was really looking for some seasoned football talent to call these games for them from all these other networks. This is a funny thing, right? So you have the NFL and you kind of bid on these games, right? You bid to get to be the highest bidder so that you can, win the rights to air these games, and then you don't actually have the on-air talent to have it called. I mean, that's kind of crazy. So to me, if Netflix is going to stay in this NFL Christmas holiday, whatever, or if they want more games, they're going to have to start developing their own talent or find some undiscovered or underutilized talent out there to call the games. It's that simple. They're going to have to stop, because otherwise you're going to have these networks like Fox and CBS and ESPN and all these things. You're gonna hit these roadblocks when it comes to actually finding talent, popular talent to call the games. And I, for one, I'm not watching for the broadcasters, right? I'm watching for the game. So I don't care who you have in the booth, to be honest. I mean, it's kind of nice to have like a Tom Brady's voice or Terry Bradshaw's voice or Michael Strahan's voice, because you recognize them. But it's not going to stop me from watching the games because I want to see the Commanders play, right? So at the end of the day, I hope that what they end up doing is developing their own talent if they're going to bid for these games. Otherwise, just stop bidding for them, because you're going to hit these roadblocks with these other networks don't want to give up their talent. And I can kind of understand it. And they're probably a little slightly bitter Bettys because Netflix won the games, and who wouldn't want to have the Christmas games, right? So they're probably slightly bitter Bettys and stuff. But if you're gonna win the games, if you're going to win the bid for the games, you need to have your own on-air talent. Simple as that. So, maybe it's time to get out of the box and then stay out of the box, right? Find some of that underutilized talent, undiscovered talent, and really start, building up your own talent because otherwise it's just like it's useless to try and win these games and win the rights to show these games. Anyway, the last piece of news I have is around Hallmark. So listen to this. Every year, you guys know, I don't know, if you listen to the show for any time, you know that every year I look for an advent calendar of some kind. I really love that idea of like opening up the spot and finding like the surprise or whatever. The past couple of years I have had chocolate. I've had the Godiva advent calendars, right? Probably for the last couple of years. But this year, Hallmark has come out with the Hallmark wine advent calendar that runs for 24 days. And it goes on sale, or it ships. No, it's on sale now. I think it's available for pre-order today. It ships in October, so that you'll have the advent calendar by December 1st. And December 1st is when you pull your first bottle of wine. So it's just these small bottles, little mini bottles of wine. That's enough for, one glass, or if you want to share it with somebody, it's a little glass, right? It's probably like the the amount of wine that you see them drinking on the actual movies. It's like minimal. I'm like, really? But fill that glass up. But they're not there to drink wine. They're there to act in these movies. So, but anyway, I am going. That's going to be my. But I feel like with the year that I'm having so far, that I'm really going to need wine. Like chocolates, just not going to do it. I want wine. So I'm looking ahead to having wine for this Christmas and for my advent calendar. So the advent calendar is $120. I know it's a little pricey, but it's wine. So I'm gonna have the wine. And then in addition to the wine, apparently they have like this your kind of Christmas activity list. So every time you open up and you get wine, then it gives you a Christmas activity to do as well, which could be decorate the tree, bake cookies, blah blah blah. So I'm kind of looking forward to that. So I am going to go ahead and pre-order and do that, and then I will share with you what wine that I am drinking for the week, of course after my birthday, and what activities that the calendar says to do. Okay, all right. Anyway, so that is all I have for ho 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 holiday headlines. Now it is time to get into the new movies coming out for 2025 and what we're watching in week 2. So this weekend, though, is almost 24/7 Christmas movies. During the week, Monday through Friday, again, the movies run from 8 a.m. to midnight-ish, right? Sometimes they run a little later. Today, Saturday, they've run a little earlier. So the first movie out of the box this week was The Town Christmas Forgot, and I haven't seen that in years. And it came on at 6 a.m. So they started, instead of the 8 a.m., they started at 6 a.m. So you really have to kind of tune in and listen, or check your local listings for when the schedule actually starts, or what the schedule is actually going to be from day to day, because sometimes it changes a little bit. Anyway, on to the new movies for 2025. So the first movie I want to talk about is this movie, Double Scoop. Okay, it's Taylor Cole, Ryan McPartlin. I wanted to know what those two were doing for this season. Eliza Donovan is also in this. So, the premise behind this movie is Nora and James were once the Nora and James were once the dream team at a top New York ad agency, but now they're locked in a frosty competition for the sweetest client of all, a small town dairy farm that turns out the most delectable ice cream in the country. So, that's going to be very interesting. You know, I'm all about this. But you know, reminds me of, what do you call it? Christmas a la mode from Lifetime. Just slightly. Like, there's definitely, that was the one, like, Christmas themed, ice cream themed Christmas movie that I have seen. And so this one seems to be taking a twist on that, but definitely the sweetest ice cream in the small town definitely gives me the Christmas a la mode feels. All right, the next movie, A Miniature Christmas. I think I mentioned this movie in one of the previous episodes, but I didn't have all the details about what the movie was about. So, A Miniature Christmas is Stephen Huszar and Catherine Burrell. You know, both of them, I love them for their holiday favorites for me. Anyway, the premise behind this one is Olivia, a talent artisan with a passion for creating miniature dioramas, is immediately smitten by quick-witted and handsome Grayson when the two find themselves delayed at a train station. Clearly, Grayson is quite taken with Olivia. Of course he is, right? It's Catherine Burrell as well. But it isn't long before the two are butting heads soon after Grayson is dispatched to Olivia's small hometown to negotiate the sale of a piece of land that is home to a beloved community market. So, once again, we kind of have the big bad developer coming in and do that. I'm probably ready for that this year. You know, I had a year where I was like, oh my God, here we go with the big bad developer things. But I think I'm ready for it again this year. So, all right, we're fine with that one. And then, okay, so remember I told you guys that I thought the movie was coming out. Haul out the Holly movie was coming out. The third edition of that movie, because we know Haul Out the Holly 1 and 2 have already come out. And so I thought it was going to be Haul Out the Holly 3, but it turns out that it's not going to be a Christmas movie. It is going to be a Halloween movie. It's going to be Haul Out the Halloween. So we're getting Lacey and Wes back for another Haul Out movie, just not a Christmas one. And I'm good with that. I am totally good with that. But, you know, besides like Christmas in July and Countdown to Christmas, you know, my favorite season for movies, especially for rom-coms on a Hallmark, is definitely Fall in Love during the fall. I love the autumn movies. So, and I can't wait for this one. So I know that's going to be good. And I'm so glad that they're really putting some effort into these Halloween movies, because, you know, since The Good Witch went off, and you know, we haven't had a lot of Halloween movies. I mean, we've had a few. We really haven't had a lot of Halloween movies, so I'm looking forward to that one. And then the last movie that I'll talk about today before we get into Christmas in July is Uphill for Christmas. I always butcher this actress's name, although I love her. Vanessa Lengies, I don't know. Lengies, right? And Mark Rosner. We all know Mark Rosner, right? He was like the hardest working man in Christmas movies for a while. He had Christmas movies coming out on Hallmark, on Up TV, on Lifetime. I mean, like all in the same year. I was like, geez, this man is working constantly. Anyway, Uphill for Christmas is about a ski lodge owner facing financial ruin and possibly the loss of his family's mountain retreat. As he grapples with mounting debt, a savvy hotel executive arrives to assess the property, setting the stage for an unexpected holiday adventure. So I'm looking forward to that one. That's going to be good. Anyway, so now we're going to get down into week 2 of Christmas in July. Thankfully, in the last episode, I left you guys up to Friday, so we're going to start with Saturday today. Today, I think, after the show, I will be locked in my office all day writing. But you know me, I'm going to have my Christmas movies on to the extent that I can have them on. Anyway, so Saturday today at 6 a.m. we had The Town Christmas Forgot. I just finished watching that one. I pretty much watched it all the way through because I had to dog sit this morning. The next movie, which is on now, is Once Upon a Holiday. That is Brianna Evigan and Paul Campbell. Now, I'm slow, right? So Greg Evigan is in this movie, right? And I know Greg Evigan from multiple things, like Columbo. He was in Columbo. I know him from Reba. He was the plumber in Reba, right? But what I did not put together until I saw their names was that Brianna Evigan is his daughter. I'm slow, okay? I'm slow. So it was so neat. Just now that I know I have that perspective, it was really neat to see them in the movie together. So I'm excited to see Once Upon a Holiday, and I'm going to finish watching it as soon as I finish the show and get it uploaded. All right. The next movie that's on today, so that's 8 o'clock. The 10 o'clock movie is Holiday Hotline. I love this movie. It's one of my favorite movies. I think it was from like 2 years ago. 100%. Niall Mater, one of my favorite movies from that season. I will definitely be planted and watching Holiday Hotline today. Christmas at the Plaza comes on after that. I'm not sure if I'll be watching that. I may be out fighting with the wasp by that time. But I will come in from fighting with the wasp to watch Never Kiss a Man in a Christmas Sweater, because we know how much I love Ashley Williams. I'm not going to miss her movie. And then it's Christmas Eve. Oh my gosh. Let me tell you something. I love that movie. The singing in that movie is just beautiful. We have Leanne Rimes, and she sang her whole face off in that movie. If I've said it once, I've said it a million times. That is definitely a watch. And it's more of a dramedy. I won't even call it a dramedy. Like, to me, it's more drama. It's a very sappy movie, and it definitely, like, the first few times I watched it made me cry. Now it makes me misty. It doesn't make me cry so much because I've seen it so many times, but the beauty of the music never changes. So if you can, watch It's Christmas Eve today. After It's Christmas Eve comes Deck the Walls. Wes Brown's in that one. I'll be honest, I have actually not seen that whole movie all the way through. I have watched it in pieces. I've seen the end, I've seen the beginning, and I've seen part of the middle, but I've never actually watched it all the way through. So today may be the day that I watch it all the way through. So that's 6 o'clock, Deck the Walls. And then at 8 o'clock, we have Unwrapping Christmas, Tina's Miracle. That's with Natalie Hall. So that's a new movie. And at that time, we're supposed to get the Countdown to Christmas sneak peek. So you've got to watch that, if for nothing else, so that you can see the sneak peek. Okay? Then at 10 o'clock, we have the Santa Summit. I love the Santa Summit. So many good movies. So the Santa Summit is the 10 o'clock movie, so 10 to 12. Hunter King, Ben Hollingsworth. If you haven't seen it, that is definitely a watch. Okay, so that's pretty much going to do it for Saturday. For Sunday, we're going to start with Midnight Trivia at St. Nick. Then Happy Holidays. I don't know if you remember, the winner from Finding Mr. Christmas last year was Ezra Moreland. I believe that's his name, Ezra Moreland. And Ezra played in this movie with Jessica Lowndes last year. So it was kind of his debut. Now he's going to be in a new Christmas movie this season. Hopefully, we'll get to see a snippet of that during the sneak peek. But if you haven't seen Happy Holidays, this is your chance to watch it. 2 o'clock in the morning if you're going to be awake. All right, at 4 a.m., now I am probably going to be up. Christmas on Cherry Lane comes on, which is absolutely one of my favorite movies. Catherine Bell, Jonathan Bennett, John Brotherton. I mean, it's loaded with the cast. It's truly a star-studded cast in that movie. I definitely love that movie, and it took me. So the first time I watched it, I really did not catch like how this story was being told. I don't want to give it away, but when I tell you, if you turn this movie on, you don't know, and you haven't seen it before and you don't know, don't get up from your seat. Don't move, don't budge. Make sure you have gotten your tea or your coffee early. Don't watch this movie unless you are prepared to sit down and watch it all the way through. Otherwise, if you take a break at the wrong moment, it will be absolutely confusing for you, and it will take you a while to catch on as to what happened that you missed during that. I remember I took a quick break. I thought, okay, this is a Hallmark movie. I'm not going to get lost. I know how these things go. Let me tell you something. For this movie, you will get lost. You cannot get up and walk away from the movie. Once you get started, you're there. Christmas on Cherry Lane. And then, on Hallmark Plus, they have a couple of the sequels. So I think they have all, like the main movie and 2 sequels out. I have not watched the other sequels yet. There's 2 more things I probably need to do during Christmas in July that I may catch, not today, because they've just got too many good movies on today, but tomorrow they've got some really older Christmas classics, and I may try to fill in that time with some of these movies that I've missed. All right, so that's 4 a.m. So then at 6 a.m. we have Silver Bells with Anne Hesh and Tate Donovan. Now, it's been a while since Tate Donovan's been in anything, right? But, and we know what happened to Anne Hesh, rest in peace. So it's very hard for me to watch anything with her, and I told you guys in the last episode, I still struggle to watch movies with Anne Hesh, and I love her as an actress. Then they have November Christmas, which follows up Silver Bells. These are 2 what I consider drama-based Christmas classics, right? They are more sappy and sad than the romantic comedy. So I will probably fill in with more romantic comedies during that period. And then I think this is Noon, Flipping for Christmas, Ashley Newburn, and then Ashley Newborough. I love her in that movie. I want to say she's actually in that movie with Mark Rosner, one of the hardest working actors in the Christmas industry, right? That was one of his busy years that he did that, and he did a bunch of other stuff. A Royal Queen's Christmas is the next movie, and that's Megan Park. Let me tell you, I want her ability to find a prince is all I've got to say, because almost every movie that she's done, over the past few years, she has found a prince, an undercover prince, and I just want her. How do you get attracted to that many princes? I don't know, but anyway, so apparently the people at Hallmark think that she pairs well with princes, and they're not wrong. Okay, so then after that is Our Holiday Story. Now that's Warren Christie and Nikki DeLoach. That's at 2 o'clock. Okay, I have not actually watched this one all the way through from end to end. I've seen the beginning and I've seen the end, but I'm missing some of the middle. So I may watch this just to fill in and just to watch from beginning to end and fill in the middle. The next one, which was The Date Before Christmas. Now, when I did my review of this, and I still feel the same way about it. I'm not sure whether I'll watch this. And I'm not sure whether if I watch it, it'll kind of change my mind. I love Robert Buckley, of course. And then I love Amy Groening. And Amy Groening was in the Santa Summit, and I loved her character in the Santa Summit. And I love it when she plays these kind of quirky characters, when she's like the comedic element of the movie. And 'Twas the Day Before Christmas, she was not that. She starred in it, but she was not the comedic element of it. And to me, it's like a misuse of her talent. Honestly, it was a little too dramatic for me. So to see her in that role, in a more dramatic role. So I know it's me. It's in my head. I'm all stuck in my head. But hey, that's just the way it is. Also, but at 4 o'clock now, what I may watch instead is on Hallmark Mysteries. They have the Santa Stakeout, which is coming on now. That's a Tamara Mowry Housley and Paul Campbell. Love that movie. So I may switch over at 4 o'clock to watch the Santa Stakeout instead of 'Twas the Day Before Christmas. And then at 6 o'clock we have Unwrapping Tina's Miracle, which is going to be a replay from Saturday. And then guess what happens? Okay, at 8 o'clock and at 10 o'clock they show, 8 o'clock and 9 o'clock, they show the first 2 episodes of Holidays. I cannot tell you guys enough that if you have not seen Holidays, you need to watch it. It was one of the best, most well-written projects that I have seen come out of Hallmark. I love it. It is perfectly balanced. It is funny. It's dramatic. All the roles were like perfect for the actors who played them. It could not be more perfectly cast. I don't know what else to say about it except for, like I said, if it were an actual movie, it would have been my number 1 movie last year, without question. Like far and above my most favorite thing to watch. So if you get a chance to watch Holidays, and you're going to have to watch for the next 3 weeks because they're going to have 2 episodes each week on Sunday, you got to watch it. It's so good. It is so good. Okay. Enough about that. So Holidays, first 2 episodes come on 8 and 9. So at 10 o'clock, you have The Sweetest Christmas with Lacey Chabert. That's becoming a Christmas classic. It's not quite. To me, it's not quite in Christmas land yet, but it's getting there. And then Magic and Mistletoe with Paul Campbell. That's another one that I like. So that's going to wrap up Sunday. So Monday is going to begin at 8 a.m. with Christmas at Graceland. Yeah, that's kind of iffy money. I won't die if I miss that one. Navigating Christmas, Christmas with a Kiss, My Grown-Up Christmas List. All of those for me are, I could miss those and it won't break my heart. However, we start to get at some ones that would break my heart if I missed them. Most Wonderful Time of the Year comes on at 4. Christmas Getaway is that was on, I think, last Saturday or Sunday, and I didn't actually get to sit down and watch that, so I'll probably get to sit down and watch it this time. And then at 8 o'clock they have Christmas at Sea. And this is going to be one of those limited time series. I've not seen it, but it's going to be all the Hallmark, well, not all, but a lot of the Hallmark actors on a cruise ship, and we're gonna actually see the interaction between the actors and the passengers and stuff. I'm excited about this. I don't know, like getting to see all the actors kind of outside of their natural habitat. And their natural habitat for me is obviously in movies, but like kind of getting to see them in real life, like the kind of people they are and how they interact with people and stuff like that. That's going to be kind of exciting. So I'm going to be watching Christmas at Sea Monday at 8 o'clock, I believe it comes on. And they're going to have a couple of episodes, I think. And then they're going to have Christmas by Starlight, which we know and love. That's Kimberly Susted and Paul Campbell. And then the 9 Kittens of Christmas with Kimberly Susted. So she's going to be the little thread of the last 2 movies of that day, and I love both of those movies. Now, Christmas by Starlight I have on my DVR. The Nine Kittens of Christmas, which I also love, as a follow up to the Nine Lives of Christmas, is I don't have that on my DVR. So if I'm up, I'll probably watch that. All right, Tuesday we have Candace Cameron Bure morning at least. We have Switch for Christmas, which I actually like. That's the movie with the twins. I actually like that movie. A Christmas Detour, that was on, I think, last week sometime. Time for Him to Come Home for Christmas. I'm looking forward to that one. Mistletoe Secret. Listen, I'm not a big fan of that one. I think I talked about my review for that one. I'm not a big fan of that one. I know a lot of people are. I love Kelly Pickler though. I love Kelly Pickler. Don't get me wrong. Like she's all personality. I don't think that they've got her in the right movie to help bring out her personality. She's a very witty, like down home person. I know she's gone through personal tragedy, like a huge personal tragedy in the past, I don't know, year or two, but I would love to see them recast her in something that is more geared toward her personality, because she's a really funny, like she seems like that kind of person that you would just want to invite to your Christmas party and have in the ugly sweater, and that you kind of sit her in front of the room and she's gonna like dazzle everybody. She seems like that kind of person to me, but So then we have the Tyler Hines quadruple is what I will call it. It's not even a triple header. It's a quadruple header. I think he was in the Mistletoe Secret. And so this might really be like a Tyler Hines day, right? Time for Him to Come Home for Christmas. I can't remember, but I think he was in that one. Then the Mistletoe Secret, I think he was in that one. Then on the 12th Date of Christmas, which I love. That's one of my favorite movies. That is actually one of my movies that will forever and always be on my DVR, and I am not moving it. An Unexpected Christmas comes after that. Three Wise Men and a Baby. And then to end the night with Three Wiser Men and a Boy. So back to back. Tyler, if you like Tyler Hines, which I do love him, you'll want to watch that whole day. Really. 4, 6, 8, and 10. And I love all those movies, so I'm gonna watch the whole thing. Like, I'll just lock in at 4 o'clock, and that's gonna be it for me until I fall asleep. Anyway, now we're going to take a quick break, but I'll be right back in a minute to talk about the rest of the movies for week 2 of Christmas in July. It's Christmas in July, and what better way to spend it than reading a holiday story that begins in July and takes us all the way through the big day. As Nikki approaches her 50th birthday, Christmas in July, a sudden revelation sparked by more than just summer heat sends her life into a tailspin. The achievements she once prided herself on, a home, a car, now feel hollow. Her vision board, once a hopeful map for the future, now seems like wasted effort. Her job is no longer fulfilling. Nikki's got it bad. To top it off, her boyfriend Smith proposes, but she's not even sure about him. What should be a celebratory milestone becomes a plunge into despair and a brush with her guardian angel, Jesus, and some sweet potato pie. You've got to read the book to find out the details, I'm just saying. Her guardian angel delivers an ultimatum: find her second act by Christmas Eve. Failure means she'll spend the rest of her life with dark days. I mean, who wants to live the rest of their life in dark days? With fear of eternal hot flashes threatening her days and nights, she takes on the challenge. Embarking on her second act leads Nikki into the gravitational pull of Evan Goodman, the hot doctor who makes her feel content, and Jordan Devlin, her first love who ignites passion, or a dangerous spark. I mean, in the game of love, who can tell the difference? Caught between the safety of contentment and, fire, Nikki must make heart-wrenching choices. Time ticks away as she navigates the path from Christmas in July to Christmas Eve, desperately seeking her true calling, chasing her dreams, and discovering which romantic interest will help her bloom into the best version of herself. The Night Before Christmas is a hopeful romantic comedy with a little bit of Jesus and sweet potato pie and a whole lot of self discovery. This enchanting narrative is the perfect holiday read to fill your heart with the warmth of Christmas love. And now, back to Chicks on Christmas Flicks. And welcome back to Chicks on Christmas Flicks. In the previous segment, I got talking about week one of Christmas in July and a few new movies coming up for 2025. In this segment, we're going to finish up with Christmas in July, week two, what we are watching. All right, so we're now back with Wednesday. Wednesday begins with a journey back to Christmas with Candace Cameron Bure. Then we have The Mistletoe Promise, not The Mistletoe Secret, but The Mistletoe Promise, which is Luke McFarlane and Jamie King. Now, that one is actually based on a book. I have the book. I've read the book. I love the book, actually. In this one case, I do think that the book is better than the movie. Yes, better than the movie. And I think that is because, now the book is really dramatic, right? But it cuts to the core of the why, because I couldn't, honestly, like, I watched the movie and I was like, I can't quite understand the why in this movie. Like, why did Jamie's character break up with her ex-husband? Like, why was there such this dissension, and why did she need to make this deal with that? Like, just all the whys and all the things I keep asking myself questions about, but I never got answered. But any question that you ever had about that movie will be answered if you read the book, and then you'll understand, like, the book. What I have found with most books that have been turned into movies is that the movies tend to stray away from the books, and this is no exception. They used, I think, a core foundation of the book, but they didn't really go scene for scene from the book. Let's just say that. And I think some of that is missing when you actually read the book. So check out, go on Amazon to your favorite seller, Barnes & Noble, whatever's left. Books A Million, I think, is left. But order or buy The Mistletoe Promise, and you'll see what I'm talking about. All right. The next movie is Crashing Through the Snow. That's with Amy Acker. I love that movie. That's one of my favorite movies. The Christmas Cottage comes on after that. And then Unwrapping Christmas, Tina's Miracle comes back on again. And then we have The Christmas Waltz with Lacey Chabert. That is Wednesday. And we all love the Christmas Waltz. Thursday, we have My Christmas Family Tree, which I love. Christmas with a Darling, another one I love. Catch Me If You Claus, Catherine Burrell, I love it. Debbie McComber's Joyful Mrs. Miracle with Rachel Boston. I have to admit, I've seen pieces of this. I have not seen it all the way through, and that is because I was completely thrown off by the fact that Rachel Boston is playing Mrs. Miracle. And it was one stretch for me to go from Doris to Rhea, right? And then we go from Rhea to Rachel, and there's just not enough. Like, I needed some more Rhea movies before we got to Rachel. So yeah, that's been a tough watch. Anyway, so I will try and watch that movie Thursday when it comes on. Mingle All the Way with Jen Lilly. We know Jen's one of those actresses. Well, I think at first she went to Great American Family, like initially, but I think she's come back. Is she the one that's come back, or was it Cindy Busby? I don't know. I can't remember. I can't keep everybody's name, but I think Jen's been back for to Hallmark for a movie or two. I think one. I'm trying to think of what that was, but anyway. Then after Mingle All the Way, we've got A Merry Scottish Christmas with Lacey Chabert. Then Mystery on Mistletoe Lane. And then A Glenbrook Christmas will wrap up Thursday. Then Friday, we've got Signed, Sealed, and Delivered for Christmas. We have Cranberry Christmas, which I love. Now, when I fell out with Nikki DeLoach on Christmas Land, I fell back in love with Nikki DeLoach on Cranberry Christmas. Love that movie. A Kismet Christmas, another movie I love. Carlo Marx is in this movie. I love that movie. Love it. So those first two, you have Signed, Sealed, and Delivered for Christmas. All those movies are good. With the markables, or I forget what they call them. But anyway, love those movies. And then Cranberry Christmas and Kismet definitely are going to be watches for me. The next one, Christmas Tree Lane. I didn't fall in love with that movie, so that might be one I skip. A Cozy Christmas Inn, Jodie Sweetin. I actually kind of love that movie. She's gone back in the Christmas Unwrapped setting to create the movie in place of Candace Cameron Bure after Candace left the Hallmark Channel. So I love seeing Jodie Sweetin in that location, and that was a cute movie. So that's probably one I'll watch. And then Cross Country Christmas with Rachel Lee Cook. I like that one. Holiday Crashers, Checking It Twice, Snow Bride. That whole string of movies I will probably be sitting down and watching. Okay, and then Saturday, it's the last day that I'm going to talk about today. Next Saturday is Holiday Engagement, which I absolutely love. My Christmas Dream, The Christmas Secret at 10 a.m. with Bethany Joy Lenz. Come on now, I'm going to watch that one. Bethany Joy Lenz is my best Christmas friend in my head. Miracle in Bethlehem, PA. I didn't love that movie. I don't know. Ben Ayers is in it, and I love Ben Ayers, but that's kind of half and half with me. You, Me, and the Christmas Tree. Ben Ayers, another Ben Ayers movie. Love it. 'Tis the Season to Be Irish, Fiona Gubelman. I love her. And I have not watched that movie all the way through yet. I know it was on last season, but it was new last season, but I did not watch it all the way through. I think I started watching it and I fell asleep on it. So this may be one of the days that I actually, next Saturday, I may actually watch that all the way through. Then we have the Santa Class, which we know I love everything, absolutely everything with Kimberly Sustad, and this one is no exception. Another Ben Ayers movie. So it's Ben Ayers Day, even though it's not straight Ben Ayers, but it's definitely Ben Ayers Day. And then Unwrapping Christmas, Mia's Prince. So this is the second movie in that series of Unwrapping Christmas that is on Hallmark Plus. So Mia's Prince is, of course, where Mia finds a prince. And I'm actually looking forward to seeing that one again. I've not seen any of those movies off of Hallmark Plus, so I'm actually looking forward to that one. It will be as new to me as it is to anybody who has not watched Hallmark Plus. And then to wrap up Saturday is going to be Santa Tell Me with Erin Krakow, which I will absolutely be watching because I love her and I love that movie. That's actually really good. And so it was her, this was the movie where she got back together with the guy from When Calls the Heart, who went off to Great American Family. I cannot remember his name right now. I can see his face. But he's done a few like Christmas movies with the Hallmark Channel. And then he went off to do like the When Calls the Heart offshoot that is on Great American Family. And he's done a couple Christmas movies over there. And then he came back to do the Hallmark one. So maybe, tensions are kind of simmering down between Hallmark and Great American Family. I don't know. It's interesting to see how the actors kind of move back and forth between networks. But anyway, so that is going to do it for today. Oh, on that note, there was one more piece of news I wanted to talk about, and that is the fact that I saw some news around Hallmark being the number one watched network on the weekends. And that stemmed from the To Barcelona Forever with Love and Forever series with Ashley and Allison. And I have to say, I could not be happier about that for both of them because I love both of them as actresses. It is so nice to see lead actresses, some strong leads together. We got the Wedding Veil series. So here's what I think happened. We got 3 Men and a Baby, which was like they knocked that out of the park. But that was all the males, right? They got together for the series. So then they did the Wedding Veil series, which was all the females and strong female leads, right? They had their triple, they had their triple header, right? And then, and so now we're seeing kind of another offshoot of that, whereas you have Allison and Ashley Williams. And let me just tell you, I adore both of those movies. I have watched them both. I watched them both all the way through. Despite them coming on Saturdays, and normally at times when I would fall asleep, I actually stayed awake for those movies. I cannot say enough good things about them. So I am glad to see that the rating matched what I saw. So I'm really excited about that. So anyway, that is all that I have for today. Stay tuned. Next week, I'm going to get into week 3 of Christmas in July and more Christmas movie news as I find it. And from day to day, if you need to know what's coming out, I know I haven't done it last week because it was kind of crazy, but starting today, I am going to publish the top 3 movies of the day on X or Twitter. I'm stumbling because I forget what the new name of it is. It's X. So on X or Twitter, and I will try to put something on Instagram. Okay? So watch out for those. Anyway, thank you to my music and show editor, Will B. He created all the custom music for the show. He's at Wildcard Music, and you can find his IG page in the show notes. Until next time, remember, at Chicks on Christmas Flicks, we can never have too many Christmas movies. We can only have not enough Christmas movies. Please don't forget to subscribe on your favorite platform and tell your Christmas movie loving friends about this show. Where can you find it? I'm so happy to add podcast platforms, including Amazon, Apple, Spotify, Google, iHeartRadio, and many, many more. You can find the link in the show notes. Please follow the show on Twitter at Chicks Christmas Flicks on Twitter and IG. And thank you for listening in. I will see you next week for sure. You will see me at least by Saturday, but hopefully Friday. Depends on how far I run from WASP and if I get stung. I'm just saying. Anyway, thank you for listening in. I'll see you next week.